Well, thank you, Professor, for joining me for my video for the Shakespeare Oxford Fellowship video contest. Oxfordians are jerks. They're like the anti-vaxxers of the Shakespeare world. Okay, they're the sub-literary equivalent of the sub-religious Scientologists. You don't want to argue with them. Oxfordians are dogmatic and abusive. So, tell us about Shakespeare. Well, Shakespeare was the most celebrated writer of his time. Like Mark Twain, he was a common man, a populist. Although as their works gained recognition, both men became friends with and hobnobbed with the upper classes, including some of the most powerful people of the age. So why was it that nobody took any notice when he died? Well, that's because Shakespeare died a nobody and then became famous by accident after his death. When he died, nobody believed Shakespeare was a genius or that his works would last. His plays were no longer being performed. So he was the most celebrated writer of his time, hobnobbing with the most powerful people, and yet he wasn't considered anything special and his plays weren't that popular? Audiences at the time didn't pay attention to who wrote plays, much like television writers of today. They were more focused on the characters and the stories, not on who wrote them. Well, why did Shakespeare himself show no interest in the publication of his plays? But plays weren't considered literature, they were considered trash, like pulp fiction or comic books. They were ephemeral amusements, not serious literature. And yet, 7 years after his death, his plays were collected in the first folio. Could you remind us again what a folio was? A folio was a large-sized book. The format was usually reserved for the most important and prized of literary works, religion, theology, history, and other weighty subjects. Well, why would a publisher spend years and huge amounts of money putting together a luxury, expensive volume of trash ephemeral scripts by a nobody whose plays weren't popular? Well, tell us about the title page of the folio. On the title page, the name Shakespeare is printed as large as one line of type can be, showing it was still a major selling point years after his death. Oh, so wait, so now he was famous again. But if audiences didn't care who wrote plays, as with television scripts, why would his name have been a major selling point years after he died? Oxfordians are jerks. They're like Holocaust deniers. They're dogmatic and abusive.